Hey, what's going on, everybody? Your boy Blake, Money Blake. Episode of Loaded Joe's MMA podcast. How you doing out there in podcast land? Always appreciate you tuning in. For sure, let's go ahead and shout out all of our sponsors real quick. Zen Soap, zensoapco.com, Z-E-N, soapco.com. Use the keyword GetLoaded for all natural soap and get 10% off. All natural soap made out of here in Austin, Texas. Keyword GetLoaded, all capital letters. Check them out. They have so many great smells. Use them as a Valentine's gift. You don't know what to get your girlfriend? Fuck the flowers. Soap. Also, go check out Gear Athletes, getgearworldwide.com. They are our sponsor. We love them. They love us. They have awesome shirts, shorts, hats, skis, rash guards, everything you need to look clean and cool in and out of the gym. Oh my goodness, that Red Bull's coming up in me. Also, go check out NOP Media. That's NOP Media. They are doing deals all throughout the month of January. You need a logo. You need a music video. You need some photography done. You need anything. They are willing to work with your budget here in the month of January. So feel free to holler at them. And you don't know how to holler at them? Feel free to get at us, and we will get you in contact with somebody from NOP Media. All right, guys. Let's talk a little technique. Had to grab my notepad. You know, it's got notes written down, man. I just stopped a quick breakdown, actually, for how naked leg kicks led to the wins of both Darren Elkins and of Jeremy Stephens. And it was real simple, man. Michael Johnson kept throwing naked leg kicks. Darren Elkins kept picking up on the pattern. Darren Elkins, he was trying to go for either overhand right, but also grab the leg at the same time. That wasn't working. Be honest, it wasn't working. But he kept going for it because he kept picking up on the pattern that Michael Johnson was just throwing naked leg kicks. And finally, one he caught was in the second round. It was like 20 seconds in. And he caught it, and it was to the inside of his leg. And finally, got Michael Johnson down with a single leg takedown. We all know the story from there. Ends up getting the submission, but not without bringing some pressure, not without being on top of him, and not without raining down a few fists from half guard. So shout out to Darren Elkins, man. I was saying I'd like to kind of see him and Jeremy Stephens go at it. If I, you know, there's already the Alliance beef and the team alpha male beef. Even if Jeremy Stephens maybe goes against Josh Emmett, whatever, you know, but yeah, I'd like to see that fight, man. And what happens from here? Michael Johnson and Doo Ho Choi. How about that? But also, Doo Ho Choi, Jeremy Stephens, breaking down that fight. Doo Ho Choi kept throwing a lot of naked leg kicks as well, and man, Doo Ho Choi has so much potential, and he was owning the first round of the fight, I thought. But Jeremy Stephens, again, that comes with that experience, it comes with that grinder mentality, kept just picking up. When Doo Ho Choi was throwing that right leg kick, okay, you throw that right leg kick, bam, he would start countering with the right. And there was one that really made the significance, and it was about a minute and a half into the second round. It really made the significance. It really drove Doo Ho Choi's head back to his, neck back to his neck to his back. You know what I'm saying? Like he just doing some neck yoga. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out, trying to look backwards while having his body go forwards. You know, the Pez dispenser. You know what I'm saying? His head went back, boy. You know what I'm saying? And that was really the turning point. Again, because of a naked leg kick. Please, fighters, if you're listening to this, set up your kicks. Unless you are a kicker, unless you're that guy, unless you're Mirko Krokop, unless you're Jose Aldo, you know what I'm saying? Set up the kicks. It's simple. It's plain. It's easy. I know you know how to do it. I know you've been doing it. Set up the kicks. Set up the kicks, especially against more experienced guys. You can get away with that, I think, at a lower level, but once you get with experienced guys like this, they're going to make you pay for it. So shout outs to them, man. And I also told you Jesse Jess and Usman was going to win. Shout outs to them. Tell y'all about watching this weekend, I was watching Invicta, changing gears a little. Invicta, man, and there's this girl named Loma. I'm gonna try not to butcher her name. Loma is her first name. LiPuma. Loma LiPuma. Yes, I got her, and I think she was fighting a girl named Michelle Wang. And hopefully I didn't butcher her name either. But the reason I bring up this fight, I watched the whole card. I had a lot of great fights. Go check it out if you're a fan of Vanessa Porto. You know, it's just a lot of really good fights. I think she's gonna fight probably Jennifer Maia for the 125 title, if I had to guess. Just a lot of good. I always love watching it because I got into it when I really started getting more hardcore into MMA, like 2014, before I started doing the podcast and stuff like that. But I was just really a UFC fan before then, a hardcore UFC fan, and became a Bellator fan, Invicta fan in 2014, World Series fan, you know, shit like that. So I but anyways, I have a natural affinity, and I have a special place in my heart for Invicta. I always love when they bring in new girls like this. And as I was watching this fight, this is, if you don't know this girl, and you might not, and that's okay, for sure, think about this. Remember how everybody always used to say, what if you could go to Thailand and bring somebody who had great Muay Thai skills, train them a little bit in MMA so they don't get taken down, and then they stand up with somebody? What would that look like? It would look like this girl. It would look like Loma LiPuma. Like, she's really fucking next level shit on standing up. Let me get specific with her stand up. Her stand up style is a counter clinch fighter. She doesn't counter the clinch. I'm sorry. She's a counter fighter who utilizes her clinch very fucking well. So what was happening was, she wasn't leading the charge, but she was letting Michelle Wang try to lead the charge and try to go in for takedowns. And anytime she would go in for takedowns, Loma would go ahead. She would make sure she would secure Michelle's head as she was coming in, and times she would just throw her off. Right, she would get the plumb behind the head, just kind of throw her off. Great hip. She was sprawling like a mug, dude. She had her sprawl game down 100%. That's what I was trying to get off my tongue, but I had so much Red Bull, you know, hearts pounded. But Loma had great sprawl game, and then she would push Michelle's heads up, you know, from her hips all the way to her chest. And as it got to her chest, she would get her arms clinched in right behind Michelle's head and just start controlling her, start fucking kneeing her in the stomach, elbow, and she would use Michelle's head. That's often been said when I used to take karate. They always just tell me, you know, you control somebody's head, you can control the person. And I definitely believe that. You control the head, you can control where they go, what direction they go. So she was controlling, you know, the back of Michelle's neck and just kind of throw her off like a play doll. Like it was really fucking crazy. But yeah, look out for that girl, because as that girl develops, she didn't have no, in the words of Theo Vaughn, she didn't have no finishing moves, right? Like it went to a decision. But Loma has incredible basics and fundamentals to work off of, and that clinch game is going to give a lot of fucking girls problems, because a lot of the girls she's fighting, you have to imagine this, Loma's she's a Muay Thai fighter, and so she's had a lot of experience with that. Might be her expertise. Like they already in Muay Thai, they have a different understanding of range with kicks. They have a different understanding of inside game with the clinch. And usually they have specialists. Like some guys are better kickers, they're better front kickers. Some people are better in the clinch. She happens to be better in the clinch. That happens to be her style. She's a counter fighter who uses the clinch. So what's gonna happen is, as she fights girls, some of these girls ain't been fighting but what, like 2-3 years, and all of a sudden they turn pro and they're, you know, 3-1 or 2-1 or 1-1 or 1-3 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna end up fighting these girls, and she's gonna be, when the fight gets to that position every single time, she's gonna end up having a way better advantage. She probably gets some more wins that way. Eventually gonna come up with somebody that she's a little bit, that ain't gonna fall for that shit. You know what I'm saying? But she's gonna beat a lot of these I don't even want to say lower, but up and coming girls, girls that don't have as much experience. It's just gonna make it look really easy. So probably expect a knockout or two coming up, man. Just the way that she's fighting. I don't know if the experience level of her opponents are gonna catch up to her for the next 3 or 4 fights. And then when she gets to a point where she challenges for the title, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, that was one thing to look out for, man. That whole card, though, this girl named Mallory Martin, if you guys get a chance to check her out, oh, man, she's vicious, dude. Like, she just vicious. I think she won it. It was like second round ground round, and she just, I think they were both out of the, could be lying, but I think they were both out of the same camp, Tiger Muay Thai. Those guys are banging out some great fighters, and these ladies ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? Mallory Martin took this girl down and just started beating the shit out of her and started telling her like shit like you can't take it anymore and shit like that, like just kind of Khabib-ish, right? Like, stop it, like, you just stop, you're not fighting anymore, like, give up, you know. Shit was crazy, dude. Mallory Martin's a beast. And I'm telling you, please, if you haven't watched Invicta, please go watch fights, because you see some awesome. I prefer these girl fights, you know, sometimes over some of the UFC cards, you know. So yeah, run and tell that, homeboy. This weekend though, we got you know, some of the Volkan Oezdemir, DC. We got Stipe Miocic, Ngannou, Rory versus Lima. And we even got Errol Spence fighting Lamont Peterson in boxing. And I think Errol Spence is going to win that for sure. He's kind of the young up and coming guy they're trying to build up, man. The kid is he's something special, man. And I think he's out of here from Texas, if I'm not mistaken. There were, you know, we've had Curtis Colvin on the show. He's I think he was on the Olympic trials with them, or the Olympic team with them. So yeah, something like that. So representing Texas like that. So yeah, man, it's a great fighter. If you guys haven't checked out Errol Spence, and that kid is amazing. I didn't do enough research to really dig into his style or to tell you anything too specific, but he'll probably get a win. And eventually, you know, you want to see him and Terrence Crawford fight. Him and if Lomachenko wants to come up to 140, 147, come get some work. Hey, come get it. I think this is a 147 fight, if I'm not mistaken. Lamont Peterson, 147. Yeah, that should be a 147 fight. So, guys, check that out this weekend. Rory Lima. Rory is the thinking man's fighter, and sort of the consensus is he can win the fight any way he wants to and take it anywhere he wants to. Lima is super powerful though, and man, you know, if Rory can't get the pace of the fight under control, and he lets Lima sort of dictate the pace, Lima can land a bomb. Lima can get Rory in a position against the cage and land a bomb. That's kind of what Lima's been doing as of late. Like, if you remember when Lima fought, was it Koreshkov? Andrei Koreshkov? And that might not be a dude's first name. Koreshkov, though, who was a former champion when they were in, I believe the fight happened when they were in Israel. And he got him against the cage. They got into an exchange, and Lima landed and knocked him out. I think it is Andrei Koreshkov. And then a similar thing happened when Lima fought Lorenz Larkin. I know that fight went to a decision, but go back and watch the second round. There's a moment where Lorenz Larkin and Lima get into an exchange right against the cage, and Lima knocks him down. So that's definitely a danger zone for Rory. Rory can't get pushed back against the cage because Lima knows how to dictate his weapons from that range very well. I mean, I think everybody thinks Roy's going to be the next champion. And I think so too, but Lima's no pushover. But also at the same time, Rory's fought guys that have heavy hands. So we'll see what happens, man. It could be super competitive. But it's definitely one to not miss if you think that you're gonna miss it just because you think Roy's gonna win. Yeah, obviously you've never seen Douglas Lima fight, so go back and watch some of his fights. Dude's incredible. DC Volkan Oezdemir. Just gonna touch on this briefly. My heart's with Volkan. My head's saying DC, and I just thought that DC's just gonna take him down the whole time. Like, that's kind of what I think. Gonna take him down, kind of do the beatdown thing, get a submission even maybe. But here's the thing, man. The space that DC needs to operate in, which is up close to get those takedowns, the space he needs is the space where Volkan's been knocking motherfuckers out. Now, granted, they've had their heads up, and granted, DC plants his head down. However, if DC wants to close that range and start to single collar tie, it's going to be a battle for single collar ties. Him and Volkan are going to have a battle for single collar ties. And for my money, from that range, the more powerful person is Volkan, from what we've seen. Volkan doesn't need space to create large quantities of power. From that space, DC can hit you, and it can hurt, but it's not lights out power like we've seen from Volkan from that short range. Because we've seen DC, he gets in that single collar tie and he'll uppercut a motherfucker or two, you know what I'm saying? But it's not the same as I think Volkan can do, you know what I'm saying? But, I think overall, like, that's something to keep in mind. Like, that would be crazy sick if, like, DC closes the range, Brooke comes in 1-2 punches, closes the range, gets into a single collar tie, or gets head to head trying to fight for head control, chest to chest type position when they're in a clinch or even against the cage, and Volkan just and you're like, what the fuck? What just happened? DC is out? Why? How? Why? Volkan, unlike some of his Black Zillion brothers and sisters, and I'll go 2 examples: Michael Johnson and Anthony Johnson. I don't think this guy has that much quit in. Like, I'm not saying those guys are horrible fighters or anything like that, but I think sometimes when the going gets tough, they get into their head a little bit. I don't think Volkan is that way. So this is more interesting than I thought. The more and more I kept thinking and seeing breakdowns and seeing things I hadn't thought about. Oh shit, it's a little bit more interesting. But I do think DC walks away with man, and I hate saying that too, right? Because Volkan is a 2-time Loaded Joe's alum. We had him on before all the big outlets had him on, and I still keep in contact with the guy. So again, my heart is with Volkan in this one. My head's with DC. Now to one that I thought I had my mind made up one point in time, and I've kind of talked myself out of it. And this is the Stipe and Ngannou fight. Now, I did take a few freeze frames. I did watch Francis Ngannou versus Luis Enrique and also Curtis Blaydes. Things I noticed, like in the Luis Enrique fight, Luis Enrique took him down. Francis Ngannou threw a kick. Luis Enrique took him down, and he was on top of him for like a round and a half. Well, not a round and a half, but like a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes. Granted, Ngannou did get up, but you can see how he does from the ground. Like, he can be held down. And that's interesting. That is interesting. Because if I think Luis Enrique's, I think they actually got stood up. No. Yeah, they got stood up. Luis Enrique got to half guard and they got stood up. But Francis Ngannou didn't get up. Francis Ngannou didn't. This is 2 years ago, right? But like, Francis Ngannou didn't get up. Didn't have much. He was trying to have underhooks. He was trying to have overhooks at certain times. He was trying to hold Luis Enrique down so that way they could get stood up. Trying to stifle action more than go for stuff or scramble up. And you could see that at certain times Ngannou would try to balance on his right hand, try and maybe push up, and then Luis Enrique would take away take that balance away, take those pivot points away, and keep him back on the ground. And that was just from full guard. So Stipe has a nasty top guard if you let him get in full guard. Just ask, Mark Hunt. Just go ahead and ask Alistair Overeem. How about that? That pains me. But yeah, And there was also moments where Luis Enrique actually was pinning Ngannou against the cage and had better position against him, just kind of stifling him there, but having his weight on him, and Ngannou didn't really have an answer for it. Eventually, there were some pictures that I'm going to add in here that what Ngannou was doing. He was trying to fight for he eventually realized he needed to fight for head control. He starts drilling his chin into the face of Luis Enrique by the second round, like drilling his chin into like right in the orbital and right along the fucking like sideburns and all over. He's just drilling his chin. Super, like, it's not like in the rule books that you can't do it, right? But like, it's like some wrestler shit, right? Little things like that I think Ngannou has learned and picked up, which is a little scary, right? This is the whole point of Ngannou. It's a little scary. There's also some things I noticed in the Curtis Blaydes fight. Curtis Blaydes was able to take him down too, but he had to fight for some takedowns too. You know, like the setups. I think this is where it comes down to. The setups for the takedowns. The takedowns need to be set up for you to get a takedown on Ngannou. You can't just go in like some guys' takedown defense is so shitty. You can go in at any point in time and you can take the motherfucker. Not the way that Francis Ngannou works. Francis Ngannou, the takedown has to be set up, or you know, I think even Curtis Blaydes got a trip with his left leg. You know, as he was falling down, gets the trip, takes him down. But Francis Ngannou kept getting up. He kept scrambling. His scramble game is strong, right? So if you're gonna go in for the takedown, take the motherfucker down and strip him of all of his points, all of his points of contact on the mat. Strip him of the elbow, strip him of the knees, strip him of the hips. Don't. If the points of contact are happening, the only thing that should be there is his back. Right? Don't let him have any of those points of contact that he can use to try and bounce back up. But anyways, Curtis Blaydes was having some success, but he was getting hit. But here's the thing with this. There's one thing I want to point out. Curtis Blaydes was getting hit. Some of these punches, though, they didn't have as much oomph on them. And I was wondering, so here's what I'm saying. Why did Curtis Blaydes, why was he able to make it to the second round? Why was he able to take so much abuse from Francis Ngannou? I'll tell you why. Francis Ngannou started to become worried after the first takedown, after the first attempt, after the second attempt. Started to become worried about the takedown. So when he would throw, it wouldn't be with all of his force. So when he would land on Curtis Blaydes, it wasn't enough to knock him down or knock him out. It's enough to keep him back, though, and let him know, hey, I still got power. But there's the thing, when you're fighting, you don't want to throw with all of your force if you know that you could get taken down. Like, you'll know that that's the opening for you to be taken down. Like, shit, I could be taken down. I don't want to throw with all my... Just in case I have to stop a takedown. You know what I'm saying? Just in case I had to stop a takedown, I don't want to give you all my juice. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like Ngannou was holding back a little bit. That might be the key for Stipe Miocic in this fight. Nobody's talking about this shit. That might be the key. Of course, everybody's talking about threat the takedown, do the takedown, make him think about it. But when that happens, a psychological thing happens to the opposite person. A psychological thing happens in their mind that lets them know, I cannot throw with the same power and tenacity that I threw with before, because if I do that, I overexert myself, I'm for sure going down. I have to save a little bit of the percentage. I can't fully commit to my punches, because if I do, I will get taken down. That might be the key for Stipe Miocic in this fight. That might be the key for him. So there's a little things that I'm noticing about Francis Ngannou, because I think I'm going for Stipe in this fight. I was going for Francis right after he knocked that over him, but I had to back off of that train a little bit, man. I don't want to get myself, like, here's the thing, I don't want to get myself too hyped up sometimes for these prodigy fighters they trying to bring up, you know, with us, because, like, I've been hurt to me, my heart's been hurt to me times, you know what I'm saying? We're playing games on my heart, UFC, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get my hopes up too heavy. Like, how great would Ngannou be for the heavyweight division and kind of bring excitement? And man, he would be so great, right? But, like, I don't get my hopes up. I'm just going to going with Stipe Miocic. I think he could take Ngannou down. I think he's got There's a reason, and even think about it like this: Ngannou uses his defense. Ngannou's defense is reliant on body leans and head movement, distance, body leans, head movement. That could open him up for some kicks, though. That's all I'm saying. Like, have we seen Stipe? I know Stipe's not a mad kicker. What if they threw that in his arsenal? If they're like, Stipe, yo, bro, Stipe's had a while. You know, he's training. Like, that's the dangerous thing. Is as much as we don't know about Ngannou, like everything he can do, he hasn't had much time to like just focus on Stipe Miocic. Stipe Miocic, however, has had time to develop new skills that we might not see. What if he comes up with a kick, bro? I don't think Ngannou's defense is set up for a kick. If Stipe comes up with a kick out of his ass, right? Like, if Stipe comes out with a kick, holy shit, right? That it's the biggest thing that would help him with distance. He doesn't have to be too close to Ngannou. And Ngannou, all he does is use distance. He tries to be in and out, and he tries to use body leans and head movement. But just like Cody Garbrandt, when TJ Dillashaw knocked him out, that's the defense that Cody Garbrandt used. Was trying to keep distance, and if he's there in the pocket with you, use body leans, upper body lean, and head movement. Right? But he still got kicked in the face. That is his defense is his hands weren't up. Ngannou's hands aren't always up. Man. So give me Stipe Miocic. Give me Stipe Miocic in this fight. I think the smart thing is you box wrestle with him. You do the Cain Velasquez with him. That's what you have to do. And I think Stipe can do it. I do get that Stipe does get hit a lot, and I think he's gonna be on his P's and Q's with his defense a little bit more. What if he's been tightening that up? And the only thing really that Ngannou he's good at it is hooks and uppercuts. And I think Stipe has enough boxing practice to get out of the way of some hooks and some uppercuts and not be in the exchanges. Like, so I was saying, you know, in the Alistair Overeem fight with Ngannou, people get caught in the exchanges when they stand there and trade with them. But what doesn't happen is if you're there, you do the flying V position like I was talking to you about, very karate movement, where you're in at one angle and you're out at a separate angle, you don't get hit. You won't get hit, especially if you lead with the jab. Stipe Miocic has a hell of a jab. You lead with the jab, control the volume. You're first to be offensive, but not too overeager. And if he backs Ngannou up to that cage, that's where Stipe has a lot of success, man. Where'd he get that knockout of Verdum against the cage? Where'd he get that knockout of Dos Santos this last time against the cage? Where was he chasing when Alistair was in the most amount of panic? Where was he at against the cage? He realized, oh shit, I'm against the cage. Stipe has this innate ability to get you against the cage. Where did Dos Santos and Stipe Miocic, the first fight, happen a lot at? For people that want to stand with Stipe Miocic, it happens against the cage. He kind of pressures you there, so that way you don't have nowhere to go. I seriously think Stipe Miocic can get this done. Jab, takedowns, jab. And the takedowns, Francis Ngannou seems to be able to have underhooks and be able to pick you up like a crane. More or less, he's seen the takedown happen more to his lead leg. Stipe, however, he can do lead leg takedown, or he can do your rear leg takedown. So he can put the head to the left or to the right of your hip. That could be dangerous, especially now if he gets you against the cage. If you're ready for one way. I know defense is very similar on the takedowns. You just want to make sure you get the underhooks. Just saying, the setups have to be right. If Stipe, if anybody can do it, Stipe can do it. Stipe can do the setups for the takedowns, and he can aim for both hips. They have to know this. Got a hell of a jab, and he can back you up. You don't want to be out in open range, open waters with Ngannou, because that's where Ngannou will be getting his wins. He'd be getting his wins when you're in open waters with a shark. You get bit, baby. You get bit, baby. That's where he gets all of his wins. It's usually when somebody is trying to like exit in a straight line, or when they're too close to the, like when they're mid-range and they're standing there to try and exchange with them. That's when he knocks you the fuck out. Like the last two knockouts with Arlovsky and Overeem. They're standing there to try and exchange with them. They're not using footwork to get out. They're using simply body leans and head movement. And Ngannou's already got you with that because he's got a longer reach than you. He sort of turns his arms in, try and maximize hooks and uppercuts, try and take you out. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of danger, but man, I seriously think Stipe is a champion for a reason. I think give me Stipe. Smart pressure, smart fight. He might get hurt. He might take one. Oh shit! Might take a left. That tends to be what he gets hit with, but I don't know. I haven't seen a jab from Ngannou. It's really just he waits for you to counter and throws a hook and an uppercut. Man, I think he gets figured out in this one. My pick is going to be Stipe Miocic in the first 2 rounds by TKO, and I wouldn't be surprised if he takes him down and gets it done. Maybe even has a hurt face from it because he ate a punch on the way down. But yeah, give me Stipe Miocic. It's gonna be it'd be so awesome though if Ngannou won though. But yeah, give me Stipe Miocic. Those are my picks over the weekend. That's my kind of breakdown, if you will. And for sure, go check out the micro breakdown I did showing the how the naked leg kicks led to Elkins win and to Jeremy Stevens. Shout outs to them, man. Again, feel free to follow us on your favorite podcast app, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and for sure feel free to show some love to patreon.com/LoadedJoesMMA. It's your boy Money Blakeweather. Hope you enjoyed this little breakdown talk that we have once a week. And I'll be around and hopefully dropping some more episodes for you, some more interviews, and any feedback you guys have, feel free to reach out. But right now, it's late where I'm at, so I'm out. Y'all stay loaded, stay lovely, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.